Okay, welcome everybody. We've got another install how-to guide we're doing today, and that's mud flaps. Oh yeah, baby. Gonna get some protection for dirt flying everywhere, finally. Anyway, so these, what are these, grey stain? There we go, look at that. I got these bad boys from this place, Motorsport Parts Online. Only took like a day, express postage, no worries. So what we're doing today is a custom mud flap install from the ground up. Now you might be asking, why would you bother doing that? Well, that's why I just showed you this place, because these are 35 Australian dollars a pair, right? So just these two, 35 bucks. I got 3 of them, so it was 100 and something. $16 postage. That's, what is that? It's 116 bucks pretty much. Plus some other little bits, I don't know, another 10 bucks. Or, actually no, some of the fittings I got with fancy ones. So that's like an extra 20 bucks. So there we go. So under $150 for this mud flap kit, custom kit. You look at the pre-made stuff, over 300 bucks before postage. Like sure, it'll fit nice, but it's over 300 bucks. And you'll notice this is 4mm thick. Now that's the rally regulation standard in Australia. I haven't looked up the international standards, but a lot of those kits are actually 3mm thick. And so if you're running in them in Australia, you're not going to comply. Not that anyone's ever going to check, but whatever. Anyway, what do you need to fit this, make this kit? You need a jack, because you're going to have to lift up the car at some point. You need a thingy 22, 21 brace to get the wheels off. You can have gloves if you want, you don't need to. You need a hole punch kit and a hammer to punch the holes in the rubber. You could try drilling it, I guess. I wouldn't recommend that because the drills get weird when you're going through rubber, but you do need the drill and drill bits to go through the guards. These metal braces, got them from Bunnings, pretty easy. I'm going to cut them up with this Tinsnips. I've got bigger pliers if I need to, but the Tinsnips should do the job. Anyway, you don't need them, but if you're going to be doing intense rally work, you want to put them in. What will happen is this will go up into the wheel arch, and then you put these in the flap and the wheel to provide more structure to this thing. Now, here's where it gets the interesting part. We've got rivets. You could try riveting it on. We've got these clips and screws. So it's screws and these little guys. This is more OEM kind of style, but it involves more cutting of the inner wheel arch trim, which is better, but it's more fiddly to fit and more cutting. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go with these little bad boys here. There we go. The good part is that this ring becomes a base inside of the wheel arch trim, and as you tighten it, this thing gets crushed up and then becomes pretty firm and solid. That's just, what are these? These hollow wall anchors, rated for 10 kilos. That's plenty to hold this thing on. The screw is a little bit tiny, but it's going to go through the holes in this thing, and then this thing is going to be the washer that supports the flap pretty much. So this just has to hold this in place. And then it's all up to the wheel arch trim. I hope it doesn't explode. Should be fine, but whatever. Good stuff. So let's hop into it. First thing you want to do, I guess, is clean the inside of the wheel arches, but whatever, is get a rough guide of position. What do we got? So this one, look at that. How low is that? The lower the better, really. There's meant to be, there's legal height limits, but I'm going to be a cowboy and just go with as low as I can, because that way I limit the spray as much as possible. It's going to be bad for fuel economy, but whatever. So with this, I can see that mounting it vertically like this, it's got plenty of space down here, and you can see I've got lots of wheel arch in there, which means I can probably cut out this section here because it's just going to not be needed, and that'll reduce the weight, because this is quite heavy. It's like maybe a kilo. No way, it's 1 kilo. Maybe like 2/3 of a kilo. Oh wait, no, I still need that. Hang on. So I can do it vertically in the rear, and then in the front, when you're turning, right, the wheel points. It'll point. If I'm turning full lock left from this point of view, the wheel's going to be pointing out here, so all the dirt's going to spray this way. When you're turning right, for example, the wheel's pointing inwards. So if you've got the trim just behind the wheel, but the wheel's turned right, it's going to be spraying all the shit to the left. So the trim arch is going to, the underbody's going to be screwed. So what I want to do for the front, mount it sideways. You can see, look at that. Look at that, got way more coverage in there, heaps of coverage. Yeah, look at that, fucking sweet. Yep, there's the wheel. There's all my coverage. Oh baby. Either way, I'm going to be mounting the fronts this way. That way I'm not wasting much rubber. Okay, I'll be back in a bit. Completely optional, I forgot, paint. These are going to stand out like a sore thumb, these giant washers. That's what I'm calling them now, especially the little gold bolts as well. So once I've positioned everything, cut the holes, these are all going to be cut to size really. Like I'm probably only going to use like this much, or like, yeah, not even the whole thing. Cut it up, figure out where the position is, and then I'm just going to paint it, just so it all looks black and hidden and not blatantly obvious that it's from Bunnings. So yeah, this is optional, but recommended, so you don't have that hectic Bunnings spec vibe. Okay, first step, I'm going to start with the rear, just because it's where it is, whatever. You can start wherever you want. Is to figure out how high you want it. We're doing it custom, so there's no brackets, no nothing to go off. So what you want to do, I'm going to go off this little weird flippy bit, air guide, whatever. You pretty much pick it up, hold it in place, see how much you want. I'm happy with that. So you hold it in place, and then with I'm using a flat blade screwdriver or something, a marking tool or whatever, you can just see there, I've drawn that line. That's going to be your reference point. Once you've got one side like roughly installed, then you go to the other side and try and copy the heights. Trying to copy the heights before you've got anything done is hard. Anyway, so we've got this height. Now we just need to figure out where the middle's roughly going to be, and then we're going to drill a hole where we want the middle roughly to be, and then drill a hole exactly in the middle of this thing up the top. And then what will happen is we'll put it in with one bolt just in the middle there, and we'll just hang it there on that one bolt. So it's going to be automatically level just because we're hanging it from the middle, and assuming this thing's weighted evenly, it's just going to hang there. So once we've got the middle in, then we'll put another 2 bolts in at the bottom, and then we're set. Then we can, from that point of view, we can start making our measurements to copy over to the other side, and then start cutting up the brackets and drilling all the other holes to get it sorted. So now that I've got my reference point, I'm just going to find the middle point here, mark up the middle point here, drill a hole and put one of those little screwy thingies in. Where are they? Those little guys, yep. Those guys, not them, them. Put one of them in the middle, drill a hole in the middle of where I want it, and away we go. Pretty straightforward. We can see that it's 30 centimeters, so bang on the 150 mark. Get your little center punch, tap, 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 until you can hear it hitting on the concrete. And then voila, lovely and clean hole. Look at that, isn't that perfect? So now that we've got the hole, we've got our mark of where we want it, we just have to jack the car up, take the wheel off, and that'll give us plenty of room to drill in there. Easy peasy. I should have mentioned this before. When you've got the hole, line it up on the other side as well. So just lay it over the top, get your punch, and ram it in there again. That way the heights are going to be here and here, and it's just going to make things a little bit easier. Okay, like always when you're jacking up the car, we've got the gear lever in first gear, and since we're doing the rear first, because the rear's got the handbrake in, we've got the safety hammer underneath the front wheels to stop it rolling backwards on us. So we've got the jack stands. Always use jack stands unless you really trust the jack, which I do in this case. We need the jack stands to make sure that the car is perfectly level, because you look at the jack point, it's just off to the right side here. If we just had it on the jack, the car would tilt this way slightly. And with the mud flaps just being held in the middle, they'll be leaning slightly. So we've got to get the car level, and then we can put them on and do the trick with the bolting from the center. Taking the wheels off, I've done it before in a video, so just going to go quick over it. You want to, it's a 21mm socket and a 1/2 inch bar, whatever bar you have. It's better to crack the nuts when it's on the ground. But yeah, so you crack the nuts when it's on the ground, lift it up, then undo the nuts fully, and then you can take the wheels off. Okay, holding it up to here. I held it up to the line, figured out where roughly I want to position it, and then with a tiny drill bit just poked it through and made a little mark there. So I can drill the 7mm. Need a 7mm for this thing, because you see the screw body is small. It can fit through the hole, wherever there's a hole down here. It can fit through the tiny hole that I made with the second smallest one. However, this is much smaller than the 7mm. There we go, much smaller hole for this thing, because this only has to have the screw going through it, whereas the wheel arch trim, it's got to have the main body, which is 7mm. That's got to go through it. So now I'm going to drill the tiny hole there, or the 7mm hole there for this thing, and install this. Okay, so when installing these guys, in the washer there's the two spikes. See them there? There's two spikes. They're very important. So when you're installing this thing, you need to use some pliers, and in the two slots, you just got to grab it. You got to grab it and stop it from rotating while you do up the screw. That way it ensures that the little hooks, the little spikes, they go into the plastic and don't get folded over, because this thing surprisingly turns a lot. And then it's just a matter of, once you're holding this thing to stop it rotating, you just whack a screwdriver on and do it up. Hand tight is fine. Once you get to the point where you can't really go anymore, that's pretty much done, and then you can just back it out, and voila, now I've got a nice little screw mount there. Easy. Okay, once you got it in with the single bolt, you just slap it a couple times, wiggle it about, you see it'll move around all over the place. Just push it in and out, and then where it rests, that should be pretty much vertical. Assuming the car is flat, where this rests will more or less be, because it's mounted in the middle, gravity and all that, pulling it down equally, it should be level. Now let's go over to the back, have a look, and there we go. We can see it pretty much is. Pretty much is good enough. Now comes the awkward part. I have to try and drill through here and get it into the other side, so we can figure out the point to put the other screws, and then start going for the brackets. Okay, so the first step after getting the top hole in, you can go either this side or this side. I've gone with this side just to keep it easy here. So you do the first one, get it all lined up so you figure out where it's even and stuff. Then do one of the second ones. Now we're only going to do four bolts per flap, same with front and rear, and 2 brackets. And 2 bolts are going to share a bracket. So I'm going to have another bracket going here, like this. Now, you do one, and then start working on the bracket, because it's much easier to use these holes. You get your first hole of the bracket, and then you can use the holes to figure out where your second hole is going to be, so everything still lines up. And now the good thing with these brackets is, you see how it's curved? And that's straight, so pretty much these bend really easy. Well, not really easy, but you put a bit of force in their bend, and then they'll help hold the shape of the flap. Give it a nice good curvature. So once I'm going to go with this bolt just so it squeezes a bit on the top there. So just going to peel it back, make sure I can see in there, make sure I'm not drilling into the bodywork. Drill a small pilot hole with the 4mm, and then peel it back, and then come back in with the 7mm, put the thing in, and continue going on. Easy. Alright, so these are the holes I've ended up with. This one here is getting a little bit close to the inside trimmer there. I can feel it by doing that, but like when you put it in, you can feel it's hitting on something on the inside. But yeah, it's alright. All good. So I've got these 4 guys in there. I've measured up the brackets. I've cut them both for each side, so I've got one long and one short. So the short one goes here like that, and then the long one goes there like that. Nice and easy. So anyway, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 holes. Now what we have to do is transfer them over onto this one, onto the passenger side. So I've only got the top one up here, that can be the aligning one. And then, yep, so we just overlay it again, get the punch tool, wherever that is, this little guy, jam it through the hole, and then punch the 4 holes, because it's square, they're both squares. For the other side, once we've got those holes, then we just have to flip it over, and then it'll be the opposite. No worries. And then we figure out where the top point is on the passenger side. We've got to measure this up and get it to the same point pretty much. Once we have that point, then it's just a matter of drilling through the placement holes that we put in there. No worries. Too easy, mate, too easy. There we go. Other side done. Pretty straightforward. Once you've got the template, you just got to mimic everything out. So now all that's left, there we go. So now that I've got the brackets, I can slowly bend them, I can go and paint them up. I'll go over the painting just real quick. So painting's pretty straightforward. You got to shake it up for like a minute. I've already done that, so. You want a nice big old cardboard background so you don't get stuff dirty behind it. And just whoop. Nice even strokes. There we go. Oh wow. There we go. You want to be like, what is this? 30 centimeters away. Nice aerated, easy strokes. Go at it from different angles. That's probably good enough. Easy. Alright, now we let it, what does it say? Dries to touch in 20 minutes. Easy. So now that we've got this done, we can get started on the front. I realized I've only got one pair of stands. So to start on the front, I need to finish the rear. And I have to have the wheels off to screw the flaps back in, so I'm still waiting for them to dry. In saying that, I've cut off the inside edge. It's not fun doing it with side cutters. The Tinsnips are gone all wonky because they're Tinsnips and they've got those weird jaws that go like that. Yeah, so I've cut that off and now we'll go back over. It's been 20 minutes. Now you can see I moved around all the shiny bits. That's where it's still wet. Now in the middle where it's matte, it's dry there, so I can touch that bit, but the shiny bits, they're still drying. So even though it's been 20 minutes like it says on the can, it's no good to touch. You can see because it's still shiny. Where it's matte it's dried, and where it's shiny it's still wet. So don't touch it unless you want to paint it again. So the rears have turned out good. This is the passenger side. I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of at a it's kind of angled outward just a tiny bit. I think maybe like 2 degrees or so. The driver's side is perfectly straight. Whatever. Just goes to show, like, you gotta put the effort in if you want to make it dead on perfect. But either way, it's a mud flap, so it's gonna flap the mud, whatever. Fronts are gonna be a little bit more awkward because I'm doing them horizontally. Now you can see I've started the same way because I got the driver's side right doing this technique. So if it's just a matter of being careful. Got my center punched hole there. I started out by figuring out where I want this bracket to be, and I'm going to go here. So because I've got this bracket here, I've got this, I've already marked this punch as well, just because it lines up with the bracket there and there. And I've already done that because you can see there's only this bit of plastic trim and the rest is metal. I don't particularly want to drill into the bodywork and create a potential rust area. So I'm going to try and mount it just in this. So I'm going to put them lengthways like this, lengthways like that. There we go, about here. I'm going to use the radius of this curve as the center point, so I'm not screwing around much. There we go, it should get me nice and low to the ground, because it's mostly the front that I want to, the rear, it's mostly the rear flaps that stop people getting hit with gravel, which is ideal. And then the front flaps, I'm going to put them as low as possible, and they're going to stick out a bit because I want to try and protect the bodywork somewhat. Now, you'll notice putting them here like this, there's this weird corner at the top here, and I'm going to use the offcuts from the rear and slot them in like that. There we go. Not too bad. It's going to, like when you look at it up close, it's going to look wonky, but when I'm sideways going through some gravel, who cares? I do, because my bodywork's not getting scratched. That's the important part. So same procedure. Drill a hole here, put the screw in, and then wiggle it about and try and get it to be straight. I've got that camber gauge somewhere that I was using for the tires when I was changing the height, so I might give that a go. Okay, so I got the center one in, so I can rotate it up and down if it didn't get caught on the inside, just a little bit. And I got that angle gauge from before, so just push it hard up against the edge. And let's see, what do I want? 0. I'm gonna flick this down, there we go. Yeah, it's about 0. Okay, cool. No, lower. Okay, oh, hang on. Okay, that looks flat enough. Yeah, screw it, I'll just do that that line there for this thing. Good enough. Yeah, that's 0. What a coincidence. Okay, that went well. So I got the bracket in nice and tight. It's not hitting on the metal there. It's good. Maybe this would have to wear away, I guess. Now I know it looks like it's tilted. Get this bad boy on here. Yep. And voila. Almost 0, so good enough. Now, so let's get this bad boy. Woo-ha. Wedge that there. Yeah, that should be good. Cool, so now I can just drill a hole there, and then drill a hole there, and then away I go. See, I've got these the offcuts of the long bit left, and that should just be enough. Yeah. Alright then. So same as before, now that I've got these 2 in, I've got that straight. Just need to put 1 in there, then I got the hole in, and then I can figure out where the top bolt goes. Okay, good news and bad news. This will be trimmed off in a little bit, but either way I've just positioned it up to get a good feel for it, and I'm liking it so far. Bad news. Bad news. See, there's these clips here. There's also 2 more of them. Can you see it? Kind of see it? There we go. 2 more of them here and here. I pulled them out because these 2 clips, there you go, they go into the sill here. So if I just drill randomly here and here, I'm going to be, and put these little, one of these bad boys in, that's going to permanently join this and this, the side panel and the vent arch flare. So that's a no-no. So while I can do it here, where the screw-in bit is now permanently attached to this, that doesn't matter. I can't do it here because it's going to permanently attach these 2 together, which I don't want to do, because it's going to be a pain in the ass eventually in the future if I ever have to take them out. What I have noticed is this is, yeah, very close. One of them will line up, well, maybe they won't, either way. So what I'm going to do, that'll be good there. Fortunately is I planned ahead and got this screw hip thingy. There we go. So we've got these clips. These will slide on inside here. They'll slide in there, and then I can just screw straight through. No wuckers. And then these clips are just going to be attached to the side panel, and they'll join everything together. But once you take the screw out, then everything's still not attached to everything else. So there we go. One problem and solution. Thank God I brought those. If I didn't bring these, I would be screwed right now. Okay, so I finalized the position. These clips are no longer going to be used anymore. These guys, so the 2 here. The screw is still here. I've replaced. I've got these guys going in, these screws now. These big guys. So you see, pull that back. I've got the clips in. This one didn't go in as far, so I've had to drill another hole there. Just offset that a little bit. And yeah, so I've got 1, 2, 3 holding in the big piece, and then these 2 are going to be for the little triangle, and then I'm going to have the brace across here, and then the big one across there. I'm also going to put a rivet in through the back of the thing. So all that's left now, there you go, 1, 2, 3. Just transfer them over to that, and 1, 2. There we go. So this will sit about like here-ish. Yeah, I'm going to have to cut this off. Yeah, I'll just cut all that off now. Okay, I'm not going to bother filming the other side. It's all the same stuff. Okay, I mean, I'm sorry I haven't filmed the cutting and stuff, because you need 2 hands. Yeah, and I don't have a 3rd hand for the camera. I was going to get a chest mount, wasn't I? Oh well. So, yeah, I'm going to finish this up, and then away I go.
Right, 22.
22!
That was phenomenal acceleration up
there. Hey.
That is just bullshit.
I get to the end and I'm already there and I don't know what to do.
That is a point. And now we have to turn the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Oh, do I? Or do I decelerate yet?
It's too late.
Right.
Okay. Oh, that was intense. Okay, so after a good bit of testing, I could proudly say that the mud flaps work. They look hot too. Let's get the torch in there. There we go. You see? Kind of see. Look at all that mud. Excellent. Excellent. Look at all that mud. Is this on? It's not on. There we go. Nice. Oh baby, number 22, let's go. Oh, those are some intense runs, holy crap. Oh boy. Look at that. Yes. All sturdy, nothing coming off. The Pilot Sport 4s, they're not doing too well in the mud. Definitely not doing too well. Even all the way on the inside there. There we go. Still holding strong in here. Yes. Yes, go the Cuscos. What a day. What a day. So yeah, that's how you install custom mud flaps. Stay tuned for more. What a beast. Go you beauty.